Facebook emotional manipulation experiment. A social media algorithm secretly put you in an experiment, tweaking your mood without you even knowing. You scroll through your feed and see mostly happy posts, people's vacations, laughter, successes. Before you realize it, you're sharing happier stuff too. Meanwhile, someone else is flooded with negative news and sad posts, their mood sinking all day. Back in 2012, Facebook secretly manipulated the news feeds of over 700,000 users to see how it affected emotions. The results were striking. People seeing positive content posted more positivity, while those seeing negative content posted more negativity. Do you remember that time? Millions of us, myself included, became guinea pigs in an emotion lab, and nobody ever asked, "Do you want to be part of this experiment?" The scariest part? Most of us have unknowingly been part of countless manipulation experiments like this. And I'm going to show you all of them. Twitter bot experiments. Picture this. You're on Twitter, an app filled with bots that secretly manipulate the thoughts and opinions of everyone, including you. Back in 2010, researchers used fake bot accounts to study the social behavior of millions of users. These bots were designed to see which tweets would go viral and which posts would trigger reactions. Real users had no idea. They thought they were just living their normal Twitter lives. Meanwhile, those fake interactions were quietly shaping what they thought and how they acted online. Some got more active on certain topics, while others even changed their behavior entirely. The experiment was widely criticized for manipulating social interactions without anyone's consent. Being unknowingly turned into a test subject went down in history as one of the darkest examples of digital-era social engineering. After long debates over ethics and user rights, these manipulative practices were banned. So here's a question. Now that the platform is called X and Elon Musk is in charge, do you think something like this could happen again? Amazon Mechanical Turk Manipulation Studies. Picture this. You're at your computer. A site hands you a harmless-looking task. Read a couple of articles, answer some surveys, maybe rate a few images. Quick, easy, nothing out of the ordinary. At least that's what it seems. But behind the curtain, you've just stepped into an experiment designed to shape your political views, without you even knowing it. Back in the 2010s, researchers used Amazon's Mechanical Turk platform for subtle social engineering experiments. People thought they were doing everyday tasks for a bit of extra cash, but hidden inside the content were political cues. Some participants were fed texts supporting specific agendas. Others were shown images that normalized certain beliefs. They believed they were simply completing jobs online. But in reality, their choices, voting attitudes, and social leanings were quietly tracked and even influenced. The fallout was huge. The idea that your political views could be secretly tested and manipulated sparked outrage. And eventually, after heated ethical debates, these experiments were shut down. So tell me, have you ever done one of those harmless online tasks? OkCupid experiments. Picture this. Your screen flashes the love of your life with a giant 90% match sign glowing next to it. Butterflies in your stomach, you start chatting, but there's zero spark. You even start questioning yourself. Then, a few days later, you see that very same profile again, this time showing only a 30% match. Your mind is thrown into chaos. In 2014, OkCupid secretly ran an experiment, fabricating match scores to test how much those little numbers influence people's love lives. The algorithm was tweaked so that some users saw inflated percentages while others saw deflated ones. The results? High matches led to more conversations, while low matches often meant silence. It showed how easy it was to steer human emotions with nothing more than a fake number. Some people even jumped into doomed relationships thinking, well, we seem compatible. Others simply had their feelings toyed with. Now imagine if it were you. Wouldn't that drive you crazy? The experiment, conducted without users' knowledge, faced heavy backlash for putting psychological pressure on people's relationships. After public outrage and heated media debates, OkCupid was forced to shut down these manipulative practices, which were ultimately banned. Cambridge Analytica scandal. Picture this. One morning you log into Facebook and your feed is suddenly filled with certain types of news, heated debates, and posts that coincidentally push your buttons. Day after day, the stream keeps flowing in the same direction. Without even noticing, your thoughts and even your political choices are being shaped. That's exactly what the Cambridge Analytica scandal of 2016 was all about. The company secretly harvested the Facebook data of millions of users and built psychological profiles of them. With those profiles, they figured out who was more vulnerable to anger, who to fear, and who would respond better to messages of hope. For instance, an undecided voter might constantly be bombarded with fear-driven messages like "the country is in danger." Meanwhile, someone who valued authority would be fed endless content praising a leader. In this way, people were steered without ever giving consent, turned into puppets pulled by invisible strings. So while you thought you were just casually scrolling, your subconscious was being tested, your choices quietly molded. And this unethical manipulation didn't just stay online, it had a serious impact on the 2016 US presidential election, tipping the scales in Trump's favor. But here's the big question: did Trump himself have a hand in it? This invasion of people's privacy and democratic rights sparked global outrage. In the end, the scandal was exposed, Facebook lost trillions in value, Cambridge Analytica was forced to shut down, and similar psychological manipulation experiments were banned. But what about you? Do you think your political views might have been influenced too? LinkedIn manipulation tests. Imagine this: you're searching for a job. You open LinkedIn, and at first, the listings look ordinary. But without noticing, certain postings keep showing up again and again, while others seem to vanish entirely. After a few days, a little voice creeps into your head. Maybe I really should work in this field. That was exactly the kind of thought shift LinkedIn was secretly trying to provoke with experiments in the 2010s. The platform deliberately tweaked which job ads and connection suggestions appeared in the feeds of millions of users. The goal? To measure which listings people were more likely to apply to, which networks they leaned toward, and how their motivation in job hunting could be shaped. Take this example. If a software developer was repeatedly shown startup job postings, they unconsciously started overlooking corporate roles. Or when internship ads from big companies were hidden from new graduates, researchers could see whether those graduates would settle for lower profile opportunities instead. In other words, these tests were designed to answer a troubling question: how easily can users be steered while searching for work? So while you thought you were freely shaping your career path, invisible algorithms were quietly nudging you in a specific direction. Career goals stopped being pure personal choice and instead became confined by the options the system chose to display. And all of this happened without users' knowledge, an experiment carried out in plain violation of ethics. After mounting criticism, the manipulative practices were exposed and eventually banned. WeChat censorship tests. Imagine this: you send a simple message to a friend, "Let's meet tonight." No problem, it goes through. Then you type another one, this time with a political word, and nothing. You still see it on your screen, but on theirs, it never shows up. This was the hidden experiment that millions of people in China unknowingly took part in during the 2010s. The purpose was to track how citizens behaved socially and how they reacted politically. Certain keywords and news links were silently blocked, while other content was deliberately promoted. For instance, type shopping and your message delivered instantly, but type protest and it simply vanished. Over time, people began censoring themselves, filtering what they said with a quiet fear. What if this message doesn't go through? It was a blatant experiment carried out without consent, one that struck a heavy blow to freedom of expression. When it was finally exposed, the outrage was so strong that these methods were eventually banned. So tell me, which of these experiments would you have fallen victim to?